Hello everyone, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. Today is day 3 of my Handmade Christmas series for 2018. I have 2 cards in this video, and we're going to start out with some alcohol inks and some acetate shades. This might be a little bit different because these are clear because it's acetate, but I think you'll find it really fun and really cool. So I've got a piece of acetate. I've got 6 colors of alcohol inks, and I'll have the individual colors listed below. But I've got some purples and blues, and then I have a gunmetal mixative, and you can use the alcohol blending solution by Ranger to kind of get them moving, but you can also use just plain cheap rubbing alcohol from the pharmacy section of your grocery store too. And I use that to clean up because it's a lot cheaper than the blending solution. So I'm going to go and add my colors on and help it to blend and move. Then take a blending tool. See, that is just rubbing alcohol. It's not blending solution. You don't want to use blending solution in the mini mister because it has resins in it and actually damage your lungs if you inhale it. I did not know that, but now I do, so I thought I'd pass along a little tidbit of information for you. So I've got some gunmetal and blending solution on a blending tool, and I kind of pounce that around just to get more texture in the ink. So you can see it finished. So now we're going in with a penny black stamp called Bundled Up. And if you're familiar with this stamp, I used it in my Save the Crafty YouTuber video, which if you haven't seen that, the giveaway is now closed. However, you can still watch the video. It is really pretty. I love how it turned out. And I will link that at the end of the video if you want to see that one. So I've got an alcohol lift ink pad on this. And when you use it, I learned this the hard way, you want to make sure you're using a non-porous surface. So acetate, because it's actually plastic, is non-porous, or UPO. The glossy cardstock is a porous surface, so that will not work for this technique. I thought it would, and I was driving myself nuts trying to get it to work, and it wouldn't work. So I watched a few videos and found out it has to be non-porous. So we've got ink on there from the alcohol lift pad, and we're going to stamp it down on just some plain Bristol smooth cardstock. And it might take you a few stampings and a lot of pressure to get the ink to transfer. And then I take a old dish rag that I have from my kitchen, it's covered in ink and stuff, and just use it to buff off the ink where the alcohol lift ink is. So you can see there where it kind of matches. I love this technique, it's so fun. So I kind of use that to help me see where the image is supposed to be, where I can buff a little bit more and try to get any ink off that is still on the plastic. So here I'm going in with some watercolor paper. And this is actually, this first one is what I used in my watercolor Save the Crafty YouTuber video. Or sorry, the second one is what I used. This first one is what we're going to use for the card today. They all run together. So the second generation stamping you're going to see here, this is what I used in the other video. And that first generation stamping, the dark one, is what I'll use for today's video. So they're side by side. So I have die cut the acetate panel using an MFT Wonky Stitches die. And then I have some 8-inch score tape, 8-inch score tape on the edges. And where that die cut, the little imprint, will hide the adhesive on the back of the acetate. So you line that up over the sandcastle image. And I really liked how it gave it a rustic, old-fashioned look. Almost like you were kind of looking through stained glass, sort of. I love the effect this gives. It's so pretty. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment. I'm using one of the Catherine Fuller stamp sets. And it's called Season's Greetings, I believe is that one. It's in the new Stamp of Approval kit, the one she just launched for Christmas this year. And then I have an Echo Park Christmas die. And I'm going to use and ink stays on ink because, or no, ink on 3, I lied, because it will dry on the acetate. It takes a while. I think I left this a good 20 minutes to help it dry, but I also stamped it probably 3 or 4 layers to get it nice and black. So make sure you don't touch it, and make sure you just like let it sit to the side for a while to dry. You can see me kind of blow it in the air. So I'm going to mat this using a pretty pale blue pearl cardstock that I have for my stash. But you can use any pale blue. I just wanted to add, I wanted to keep that cool tone to it. So I've got some Tombow Monte Multi in the back of my die cut there. And press that down. Don't forget your tittle. That's what the eye on an eye is called, or a little dot on the eye is called. It's called a tittle. I learned that from Laura Besson. And then I've just got some sequins for his hat that I'm applying also with Tombow. A big silver and 2 little red ones. Just to give it a pop of color. So the next one we're going to use, or going to create, is a shaker card. So I've taken that same pale blue pearl cardstock and putting a frame from it using 2 stitched rectangle dies. And then I'm just taking some copy paper, leftover scrap, and cutting an oval from it. I'm going to show you a mistake I made here in a second. So there is the actually watercolor paper that we stamped using, or not watercolor, this is Bristol. Sorry, I'm mixing myself up today. On top of a sheet of plain acetate that we're going to stencil on. So I'm going to tape that down to the acetate just for placement, just so it doesn't shift. And then use that copy paper to mask an oval over the top of our snowman. So I'm going in with a Tangled Waves stencil by Bruce Monroe and some glitter glaze by also by Bruce Monroe. I'm using Fallen Snow, which is a white, and Unicorn Horn, which is a silvery iridescent glitter. I love these pastes. They are so nice to work with. They are so creamy. Glitter is really pretty. They wash up easy. Love these things. And I hope they come out with like a bazillion more colors because I will buy them all. So we're going to lift up our stencil carefully, and then we're going to go in carefully and remove this paper. Now, I applied this using a permanent tape runner. Don't do that. Use a removable adhesive like Tombow Monte Multi Glue or something like that, because I had to go into my acetate panel after it was dry and remove the sticky, and it was not easy process. So don't use permanent tape runner on it. So I'm going in on our Bristol Snowman panel here. I'm going to use 2 colors of Captain Cooler ink. One is It's a Boy and the other is Pixie Dust. Or is it just called Pixie? It's Pixie Dust. And I'm using these new Picket Fence brushes, blending brushes. These are awesome. I love these things because they're super soft, super easy to blend. You don't get any marks. They wash up easy. I love them. They're great. And a little bit pricey, but worth it. Totally worth it, because you get 10 brushes in this kit, and they come in all different sizes, from bigger ones to super tiny ones. So they're fantastic. I love them. You should get them. I know it's not a paid sponsor. So I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment, and I've also added some little snowflakes using some silver delicata ink. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment using Versamark, and then we're going to heat emboss it using Ranger Black Sparkle embossing powder. And I did use a powder tool on this, even though it's not in the video. So now it's time to build our shaker. I love shakers. They're one of my favorite things. As you can tell if you watch my channel, I have lots of shakers. So I'm using some Like Magic sequins from Neat and Tangled, and then also some blue snowflake ones from my stash. I have no idea where they're from, but they've been sitting in there for a while. And of course you're going to use them with snowman because snowflakes. Adding a few more. And I'm going to go ahead and take some away. I'm going to place my shaker panel on top. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure your foam tape, I've doubled up and then narrowly cut it. And you want to make sure they're butted up on the edges so that none of your shaker bits can escape. And for sequins, you don't have to worry about it so much, but if you're using seed beads or glitter, they can escape. So you want to make sure those are nice and snug. And here are the 2 completed cards. And I love them. And they're fantastic and they're beautiful. And you get 2 for 1 when you're using the alcohol lift ink. Awesome. So don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, watch the videos, because that's how little channels make it to bigger channels and can stay continuing to create content is by views. View minutes is actually how YouTube checks how well we're doing. So with that being said, I will catch you guys later, and thank you for watching. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.